Hey everybody, this is Mr. View, and today we're going to be talking about World War II and the beginnings. Right? Yesterday we found out that Germany had rearmed, had gotten a bunch of soldiers, and Hitler had been kind of adding countries outright. Right? He added Czechoslovakia and he added Austria, and the world they just say, okay, here, go ahead and take it. They're appeasing Hitler. That's the word you learned yesterday: appeasement, giving in to an aggressor to avoid a fight. And we know that that never ever works, right? Because if you keep giving them stuff, they're going to keep taking it until eventually you get upset and try to punch them in the mouth. And that's exactly what happened. We also learned about how Japan had attacked China in 1931 before World War II, and how Italy attacked Ethiopia, which wasn't a very fair fight. It was tanks and machine guns versus rifles and rocks. So Ethiopia, they didn't have very much of a chance, and Italy rolled right through them. Germany, meanwhile, helps out Spain's dictator by doing a little dress rehearsal, trying out their blitzkrieg or lightning war, where they use their planes first, and then their tanks, and then their men really, really quickly. And they're lined up and ready to go. And it's very fast and effective way to fight. And so Germany attacks this marketplace, Guernica in Spain, and it's not really a fight. They just killed 1,600 people, and the world is kind of outraged at that point. But nothing is done. Once again, appeasement. They're not doing anything about it. So why does World War II start? Number one, that worldwide depression. A lot of people were poor in a lot of these countries, and because of that, change happens. Like Germany going to this monster Hitler, right? He says, I'm going to stop doing this Treaty of Versailles stuff. I'm going to rearm. We're going to end unemployment. And go figure, he does it. Right? And so the people are willing to overlook some of his crazy because they at least have money. Other countries the same way. They revolted against their governments because they were not providing for the people, and there were a lot of people starving. Secondly, alliances. The alliances that were made, just like in World War I, were effective in World War II as far as starting the war. Right? You had an alliance of Japan, Italy, and Germany going out there and attacking people and saying, hey, we've got your back if something happens. And so instead of a one-on-one fight, all of a sudden they've got three powerful countries willing to punch you in the face if you do anything. Thirdly, appeasement, which is what we talked about, giving in to an aggressor. If you do that, bad things happen. Right? We kept appeasing Hitler, letting him do what he wanted just because we didn't want to fight. And imperialism. Imperialism is when one country wants another, or they want to expand. And all three of these countries, Italy, Japan, and Germany, thought that they needed to expand, right? That they could be more powerful. And so that's what they were doing. They had extreme pride in their country, or nationalism. They felt like they were untouchable and unbeatable. They were so proud of their country that, hey, nobody can beat us. We're the best. Does that sound familiar? Right? And then lastly, the Treaty of Versailles. The winners and the losers were upset about the Treaty of Versailles. Very few countries were happy about it. Italy was on the winning side of World War I, and they were unhappy because they didn't get land. Russia, even though they got out quick, they thought that they deserved land, so they were unhappy. Germany, obviously unhappy about the Treaty of Versailles because they had to take blame for World War I, and they lost a bunch of land, and they couldn't have their soldiers, da-da-da-da-da. So the Treaty of Versailles was a bad thing. It did cause World War II. In 1939, that World War II actually starts when Germany and the Soviet Union gang up on Poland and cut it in half, divide it. Soviet Union kind of gets off scot-free. They kind of go their other way after this and take over little itty-bitty countries. But Germany, not so much. War is declared, right? England and France on the Allies decide, hey, we're fighting against Germany. Germany, Japan, and Italy were on the other side, and all of a sudden it's a world war. In 1940, Germany took Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Belgium. So another 4 countries, although they're chumps, they're not really heavyweights, I guess. So it wasn't like they were going to put up a big fight against the German war machine. And they didn't. Germany rolled right through them. Then Germany attacks a heavyweight. In 1940, they go after Vive la France, right? France is one of the heavyweights in the world at this time. And France had the Maginot Lines, these trenches, these series of trenches that were supposed to stop the Germans from attacking them. But they don't work, right? And the Germans roll right through these Maginot Lines with their blitzkrieg style, and drill France pretty quickly. One exciting or interesting battle, or miracle, if you will, was at Dunkirk in 1940. The Germans had surrounded the French and British soldiers. Here's my wonderful drawing. The Germans had pushed all the people to Dunkirk, all these soldiers. And the soldiers had really nowhere to go. They were sitting ducks. But Hitler hesitated. He doesn't finish them off. And that allows England to send anything that floated over to Dunkirk. All types of boats, passenger boats, big boats, little boats, didn't matter. As long as it floated, it went to Dunkirk, and they picked up soldiers and brought them to England. It saved 300,000 men. 300,000 men were saved. 300,000 soldiers were saved at the miracle of Dunkirk because Hitler was too slow to act. He didn't finish the job, right? Which is good for the Allied side. But France still fell. France surrenders on June 22nd, 1940. So now France is gone, and it's basically England versus the Axis powers. Eek. It's not very good because remember, the United States, we're sitting this one out. We don't want to be involved. We're hanging out way over here. No big deal for us. It's not our country getting destroyed. The Axis soon thereafter takes North Africa, Greece, and Yugoslavia. They add more countries when a couple join them voluntarily. Bulgaria and Hungary join the Axis powers. So now the Axis, Germany, Italy, Japan, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, North Africa, Greece, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, and Hungary. Hitler has made his way through Europe for the most part. If you're not neutral or you're not named England, you've been pretty much taken over. So there's a big storm brewing. The Allies are really struggling here, and Hitler's got his way. So anyway, that does it for today. Remember the reasons for World War II: depression, alliances, appeasement, imperialism, nationalism, and especially the Treaty of Versailles. And we know right now that the Axis is kicking the crap out of the Allies. So come on, America, save the day.